Yep. Timber. Ooh. Serious timber. It dissolved one of them. Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Valheim. So last episode, we defeated a deer god, hung its head upon somebody's mantle, and now we're here. So I think this episode is building. So, is it night or day? I can't remember. If it lets me sleep, then it's night. It's night. Okay, so... where's my door? There we go. The gist of my idea... I feel like I hear a bird flopping about. But I don't see it. The gist of my plan... we're going to start building our base now. Primarily because we're now to the point where we need a base. We're going to be venturing off. We're going to have to go out, bring material back to process somewhere. Some nibbles of things. So, it's a good idea to be set up and ready for that. Now, I think my general plan... I need to do some looking around. How I like to do things, I tend to have one large building that's sort of the crafting and storage combo space. That was a fun fish. Mainly because it's nice to have those things together. And then I tend to like to have a second building that's sort of a smaller, just personal house. So yeah, house building. Where do I want things? I know I want my little bridge. There. I'm probably going to build, eventually, walls. Do I want to build walls along the creek? I'd be tempted to just leave it as a natural barrier, except for it's not actually going to work as a barrier. Because anything can just cross it. So I may build some walls. Up here's a nice little flat bluff. Could be good. I definitely want to leave the big tree. I can't remember if I can get rid of these things, the stones. There's consequently these big stones in the shape of a boat. I guess it is a grave, technically, what I'm looking at this. So ripping it out is probably not ideal, but it happens all the time in construction anyway. But if I can get rid of those will be good. If not, I'll just incorporate them somehow. I think for starters, I want to stay fairly close to the water. And I'm going to want to do that in general because it's just convenient. So maybe... I also don't think I can destroy these big old rune stones. Can I build near them? I sure hope so. Yes, near and right up against. Okay. Maybe I get rid of this rock, flatten out a bunch of this area, and it becomes my sort of longhouse storage building factory whatnot. I can then have down here, kind of down the slope from it a bit, be maybe where the smelting and whatnot occurs. And then the actual my house, maybe I get rid of, knock down this old building and put it up here. That'd be a nice compelling little area. And then I can expand it out as needed, but yeah. So that's a bit of a plan. We'll work on that. I guess the first step... so one of the things that God Boss Deer dropped were its antlers, which I can use to make a pickaxe. So that pickaxe will A, allow me to get rid of that rock I was looking at, and B, allow me to get rid of and mine many other rocks. So, I guess we can just knock this down for starters. Give a little pickaxe demo as that grayling comes to visit. Well, I'm gonna need to do a lot of tree chopping. I have a funny feeling this episode's going to be longer to record than is shown on video. My goodness. They really don't like me getting rid of rocks. I'm pretty sure, they actually don't like me getting rid of rocks. Oh, hello, bird. Yes, I know about pickaxes. They don't like the rock, well, they don't like me hitting the rocks because it makes a lot of noise and attracts them to my presence. I think all enemies that works with. I know it happens with things in the Black Forest, because that's kind of a part of the mechanic of mining in the Black Forest. So that's that. What do I need? Do some repairs. There we go. Stone and wood for a hoe. So, this is important for leveling the ground. My word. A lot of neighbors here today. So let's... maybe from here. And I want it to be fairly long. So we'll just start leveling. Okay. That should be enough area at least getting started. Take it out towards this rock, maybe. Should be enough to work with. We can figure stuff out later. Well, later. I am probably going to have to, at some point, rebuild stuff because, well, eventually I get access to stone, and I'm probably going to want to rebuild everything out of stone. That should be a good start. Let's go gather... Yeah, I've got room for wood. Gather a bunch of wood, and that will help us build. Now... I always feel bad going off and just clearing all the woods around my area, because I kind of like having the, you know, I think this little bit of forest wall here is nice. And I kind of want that view. So maybe let's go this way and do some chopping. If I can follow where I intend to put that road and kind of clear it a bit, that should be a decent way to get started. So that would come up here. Clear out some of these, and honestly, maybe leave that tree there because the rest of this just looks good. And that didn't help much. Maybe I go at this side. You can plant trees, so eventually I'll be able to regrow the forest wall as I wish. Ooh. That bird really wanted to land there. Too bad I'm in the way. Oh, come back here, log. Let's maybe knock down... see if this clump will do anything fun. Oh boy. Yes is the answer, but they did their fun at me instead of other ways. That is Again, I talked previously about a lot of stuff in this game being just kind of fun little mini games. That's one of them, where chopping trees is not a inherently safe activity. If they fall on you, they will hurt. Oh, looks like I am full. Luckily, things kind of just stay put, so I can leave those and go back when I need wood. But for now, first thing I'm gonna do, and I'll just place it up here as a crafting table, because of course I need that to build walls. Then, let's see. Kind of want it parallel with this stuff. So maybe if we go, I think I'm gonna put that there. And then start basically framing up a little something with these beams. Though, I may want to push it in a bit. A lot of this is just kind of trial and error. Maybe I just put the beams on the ground. What I want to avoid is situations where the dirt clips through the floor. But sometimes that's easier said than done. So the sort of design I'm going to go for here is a sort of long ship or long house design. It'll sort of look like a boat. So yeah, it'll be fun. Now, I may not have the room for it. Yeah, looks like I'm gonna need to do some more leveling. Which is fine. I definitely want room inside. And it may create an odd situation where the walls are semi-underground. And like here. May have to get a little bit more serious with it. So between the hoe and the pickaxe, you can generally make stuff do what you need it to. But it is sometimes a bit of a pain, because they aren't very accurate tools. Okay. Well, that looks pretty good. It's kind of a basic area. Should be big enough, at least starting out, for the various stuff I'll need. At some point, I may end up having to build a separate storage building somewhere else for kind of overflow, but we can do that when we get to it. Now, the big question is, the floor may not play nicely everywhere. I can gently dig a hole here. That should help that. I do want, probably in the middle right here, I want to make sure the floor is fairly close to the dirt, because I want to have a fire in here to cook on. Maybe I have two. But fireplaces cannot be, or fires can't be built on wood floors. I need to build them at this stage on dirt. I don't want them to be awkwardly sunk down. Oh boy. Come back here, you. You're not supposed to be here yet. Oh, jeez. He's making a break for it. Yeah. I guess he got away. So, this general area should work. Probably want to put some boards up. I didn't think about the fact. So at this stage, I don't have very strong building material. I hope I'll be able to support the roof on this thing. Guess there's one way to find out. Put these up. Just, I don't think they're actually necessary, but they look nice. Have some level of framing. And actually, they do serve a bit of a use because they'll let me start with these things and actually, if I have enough wood, they should give me a sense of if I can actually make the roof. Because if I can get those support pillars up, the roof should fit comfortably on them. Sort of build this as a frame. Okay. Got plenty of room. Let's deal with this tree and a different tree, because that's usually fun. Yep. Timber. Ooh. Serious timber. It dissolved one of them. That's convenient. Okay. Go ahead and process this. If some of the wood stays on the ground, we can just come and get it easily. Come back here, you. Uh-oh. Ow. I guess I could have let the rock stop it instead of using my body, but it's a real pain when logs end up in the water. That one actually probably would have been fine because of the big rock, but you kind of have to push them back to shore to be able to hit them, and it's just a hassle. So, okay. Framing. That doesn't look bad. I like that as a more compelling curve. That gap maybe, though. Yeah, it's just longer than one beam. Which isn't a huge issue, because I can do that and it looks semi-decent. And I should be able to build supports down that will actually support this. Go and drive that into the dirt. Yeah, that should be alright. And kind of what this will do, consequently for wondering why I put this weird wall here, the half walls, you can either snap to kind of the midpoint like you see now, or if you aim at the bottom, it snaps down to the midpoint on the other end. So it's a convenient way in situations like this to get a timber kind of coming off of this branch into the ground, where I can't just point at the ground and have it snap. So, the tricks you learn. Now that should work well. Let's see what I can make with these angles. So this is always the challenging bit of building a building like this. Is trying to actually get the roof to work. That may do something compelling. We'll just have to see how it goes, but we should be able to work with that. Let's duplicate it on this side, and then we can probably start working on actual roof. Dang it. When using this type of thing, sometimes you have to... Really? I only have 2 wood left, huh? Yep. Yeah, sometimes you run out of stuff. Like, I could build it now, but as you can see, it won't snap correctly. And I think... Is that low enough? No, it looks like it's floating. It probably doesn't matter because my guess is that this stuff... Well, let's see. It says green now, and it's not flicked off of green, so no, yeah, that looks like it does just support. Can I get away with that everywhere? I mean, that's definitely dangling. But I think it's working. Alright. Well, that's a few more wood saved. Will it work on this side with the floor? Well, no, the floor here is about the same height. Yeah, seems to be. Alright. Well, I still need more wood, but that's a frame at least. Guess let's chop down some more tree. That one had a hidden boar. Something I am noticing. I think it's just, you know, the last run through I had of this just on my own, I was further along and had better food stuff. I forgot how quickly the food runs out early on. I feel like I'm having to constantly restock it and running out. Whereas eventually it's like, oh, this meal lasts for a half an hour? Alright, well, time to eat, and that's about as long as I'm playing. So, let's get a bit of roofing in. It's actually somewhat convenient, this hill. Because I should... Yeah. I can just hop straight up without a ladder. I may do... Maybe if I just kind of do the slope straight in, I could have this wall actually be open, and that could give a little bit more storage room. We can deal with that later. Now... Okay, that should work. The interesting thing with these corners, and I'm going to do the corners first. You can... Get away, I'm cornering. So the challenge with doing these corners and the curves is that Valheim is very good in that the secret is every block in the game is slightly uneven. So everything is... If I look at a board, you'd say like, okay, this is a rectangle, but all the edges are slightly off. You can see this little gap that's sort of a V. Every side is slightly off square, which means that you don't have issues when you put them together of them clipping through each other. Well, they do clip through each other, but it doesn't look as bad because you don't have essentially two flat surfaces fighting to be seen and flickering back and forth. So it means you can do things like I've done here, where this roof is just sticking through this pillar and sticking out here, but when you just look at it, you don't see it. It's a really smart way to make things work. But it does mean there's a little bit of thought and calculation. Because you can just squish things together, you kind of have to think about it first and figure out how you want to squish things together. It's not always as easy as just building. Actually, I think for this one, I'm going to want the walls in, because I can then snap to the walls from somewhere, like there. And when you do this style, there are going to be bits that poke out and don't look as good. Like here at the end, that line that kind of you can see here, that edge is going to be there. There'll be a little X shape. And, you know, it's not the most ideal, but I find it's best to just kind of lean into it and maybe either just slap a bunch of other stuff around it so that it doesn't look, you know, so that there's more going on, or just kind of, if there's a little X out here, maybe I'd make a bigger X out here out of something. But it also doesn't look too abnormal. The gods don't seem to think so, but it's a little messy, but at least it's evenly messy, and so it sort of works. Now, no, there's the snap. And I'm out of... Let's just take that down for convenience. Yeah, actually, sometimes it's a lot harder than this. Now, I've not done the upper area, and having the slope transition part can make things messy. I'm also going to have to figure out something to do for this triangle up here. So some of that may be a little bit of a pain, but... Ooh. I can showcase why it's important to have an internal fire. It's raining right now. My fire is outside, you can see it's sort of sputtering. Currently I can't sleep or anything because the fire is technically out. It's paused by the rain, so I also don't know if I can sleep. Yeah, you can see, needs a fire nearby. So I'm just gonna have to tough it out and hope lightning doesn't strike trees. At least I haven't discovered metals yet. And I think, as I'm slowly whacking away at these logs, we'll go ahead and end this episode for today. So, we've got some building begun. It's gonna take some time to get it finished, but oh boy. Well, that was precarious. Yeah, situation coming along. Next week we should hopefully be able to finish that, and then maybe start prepping for some adventures elsewhere. So yeah, thank you everybody so much for watching. Feel free to check out any of the other stuff I've done, and until next week, bye bye.